What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm going through my comments and everything, and for the most part, there are always positive comments, but you always get some of those where it seems like people are trying to put you in your place. And for me, I don't care about that. I don't define myself by the trucking industry or being a truck driver or anything like that. But what I'm kind of talking about, you have people that are possibly owner operators trying to say that you're a company driver if it says Prime on the side of your truck, or you have people that are, just had a recent comment on an old video I did maybe damn near 2 years ago saying, talk to me in a year, how I wasn't going to be making any money or something like that. But what was the last comment? 'Cause there was another one. I don't know. Just seems like there's this constant battle of people in truck driving trying to keep you in your place, like this is like a big dick swinging contest out here or something like that. And one thing I could tell you that I've seen over the course of my couple years in truck driving is keeping up with the Joneses and all this kind of stuff has doomed more truck drivers than I care to mention. And that would be whether it's people that possibly should be going company, going lease, people that, are owner operators that possibly should be company or lease, and, vice versa. But one thing that I'm going to say about, well, it applies to this business, but in life in general. But for some reason in trucking, it does seem that there's this hierarchy that really doesn't need to exist, or infighting between all the different groups. You got company drivers that are, acting like, okay, well, I don't have to pay for this or I don't have to pay for that, and that's why this is great. And then you have lease operators that are talking down on company drivers like, just have a company driver do it. Then you have owner operators that are, acting like the world is all great, that they're kind of throwing shade on lease operators and company drivers. And one thing I've seen in this is there's a whole lot of people trying to play above the rim in the trucking industry. A lot of people that are going from company to lease operator that maybe shouldn't be taking that leap, and then definitely a lot of people that are owner operators that have taken that leap to be an owner operator without really the possible funds that they're going to need behind them. And I think a lot of this, like I said earlier, is a big dick swinging contest. Discipline is what keeps me where I'm at. People say, you could make more money if you go owner operator, or on the other end, I'm stupid for being leased when I could be a company driver and do whatever. You know what? This is what works for me, and this is all that I care about. I'm really not caring about the title. I don't care if you call me a company driver, owner operator, lease operator. I really don't care about the title, and I don't think that you should either. It's discipline to stay in your lane. I see these, as impractical as they are. I see these Peterbilt 389s out there, and it's just like, man, I could go get one right now. You know what I'm saying? I could go get it. But it's the discipline that keeps me in my lane. And whatever your lane is, you need to, figure out what works for you, whether that's company, lease, owner operator, whatever, and stay in your lane. And, the easiest way to stay in your lane is to keep those blinders on and not worry about what everybody else is doing. There's a ton of owner operators out there, primarily from, let's say, when this COVID situation first happened, people were giving up their trucks like, like a prostitute on the street corner giving up them trucks like that. And a lot of it was because the whole vanity and the whole, status of being an owner operator and driving the long nose Pete and being able to do what you want to do. And I understand it. Shoot, it is tempting. Trust me. I think about it a lot, how it would be nice to have this other truck and all that kind of stuff. But then it's like, you know what? These are my goals. Here's where I need to stay. When I first got into this business 2 years ago, I'd mentioned that I was going to go company because it was just going to be a few less headaches and all this kind of stuff. And the only reason that I ended up going lease primarily was the days off situation. For me, in my lifestyle, 4 days off was not going to be enough for being out a month. Once I leased a while and got my mind wrapped around that, that's when I was like, all right, well, you know what, a $14,000 or $16,000 or whatever it was investment to do a lease purchase, that was the route for me. But I've seen people that have made the jump from lease to lease purchase that possibly shouldn't have been making that leap. So, and a lot of that's based around vanity, status, all those kind of things. So, there's nothing wrong. And this would be primarily to most of the drivers that are, coming into the industry, or possibly company drivers right now, or even lease drivers maybe thinking about making the jump. There's nothing wrong. There's no hurry in this business. I mean, if there was a rush, I'm coming into this industry later than most people. There's no rush to get where you're going. If you're coming out of training, there's no rush to go lease. You can go lease at any point. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that need to go lease right off the bat. I forgot what the video was, or who did the video. There have probably been several videos. I know people personally that came out. Well, actually, one of the people I was in training with, she ended up going company, which was good, but she was out there tearing up all kinds of stuff. She's no longer in trucking, but if she would have been leasing at that point, she probably would have racked up $4,000 or $5,000 worth of deductibles on different incidents and stuff like that. So if you have a question on whether you want to go lease or company and you're kind of wavering in this 50-50, really think about it. Because if you make the wrong move and you're not trained up right enough, that can cost you some money. And it's not as easy, I guess, as some people make it seem to be. If you're leasing and possibly thinking about going owner-operator, look at all the owner-operators that are having problems out there. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of successful ones. But there's a lot of them out there that are going through it, As soon as you start hearing people complaining about fuel and all this kind of stuff, next thing, it's going to be something else. And, the panic is almost starting on that end of the business. So one thing that I try to do is, I believe in the open market, all right? The market is going to be what the market's going to be. A lot of people base when they come into this, become a lease operator, because the market's going to be good, or owner operators, the same situation. But if you position yourself right, or have yourself positioned right to begin with, and I said this before and people were thinking I was stupid for saying it, a down market, and this isn't a down market, but a down market is a great place to start. And technically, I guess when I first came out, that would have been considered a down market, but I've never based my life around what the market is, because I know the market is going to adjust itself, and it's going to adjust itself in a couple different ways. If there's any owner operators listening, they probably know more about trucking than me, but maybe I know a little bit more about the markets than them. At some point, if fuel prices go up, at some point freight rates are going to have to come up, and if freight rates don't come up, then drivers will disappear, and the same thing will happen over time. But you have to be able to withstand that storm. Now, one of the good things about going into a lease with Prime, and I'm sure some of these other companies, is that you have that backing. If you have something that happens, you're not having to come up out of your pocket. If you put your truck in the shop, that's going to be a bill that Prime handles, and then they'll take it out later. It's not anything that you need to come up with. But I always lose my train of thought in these damn videos. But I just don't feel like there's a rush to climb this ladder. You know what I mean? Like I said, one of my boys been in the business since the early 90s, and he's been in all different spectrums of the business and at all different times. I think he's been a company driver. I'm not sure if he went lease or not, became owner operator, maybe went back and been lease. He's been kind of all over the place on it. It's just been kind of what works out, at the time. Like I said, this isn't keeping up with the Joneses, and I get a feeling that a lot more is placed on the status of what you are in trucking. Like some of these comments, you could try to put me in my place all that you want. Call me a glorified company driver, call me a company driver, call me whatever you want to call me. I don't define myself as far as the trucking goes and what I plan on doing, other than the income that comes in from trucking, is going to be based on things outside of trucking. Anyway, that's all I had to say about that. Some of these comments, boy. And again, I don't care about the comments that are directed at me. I'm just trying to save somebody that's out there that might feel pressured from outside pressure to go lease, or all my boys are owner operators, or taking jumps that they don't necessarily need to take. But anyway, that's about it. Trying to absorb these last couple days out here at home, getting things ready to go. Just sent in my tax payment. I don't do the quarterly taxes, stuff like that. I might do that next year. I typically don't do that, but I just sent in what I thought the estimated taxes were going to be, and then I'll try to work on getting those taxes handled. But I think I probably sent in a bit more than is going to be necessary. That's another thing to deal with. Just minor headaches like that. Getting your expenses in, every month, and then, dealing with the tax situation, getting all that stuff together. Things are a little bit cleaner on the company side, and they're a little bit cleaner on the lease operator side than they are on the owner operator side. Actually, to get back into that, another reason why I don't want to do the owner operator thing, even if I was like, okay, even if I fell to the temptation to be like, okay, let me just go get this 389 Peterbilt, and I went and got the authority and did all that stuff. Do I want to be keeping up with all that stuff, all that IFTA, all them permits, all that? Prime just makes it so easy. I'm spoiled. So call me a glorified company driver, call me what you want, but just call me content as a mofo to be where I'm at right now. Anyway, that's about it. I'm about to run up to the store, buy some of this jumbo shrimp for a cooking video later, and that is about it. I hope you guys are having a good day. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.